Hello and welcome to this first look exploring session looking at Phormio by Terence, translated by Richard Bernard in 1598 for an edition of 6 Terence plays. Terence in English. This edition conflating all 6 Terences with a Latin parallel text for students at home, presumably, for their entertainment and edification. We don't know if these were ever performed, specifically these were performed necessarily or not. They may have been, but they're certainly in circulation. And Terence had a reasonable effect on comedy in the early modern period. So we're doing more of a flyby with this, or maybe a drive-by at this text. We're going to just read it through at pace. For all the readers, just note I won't be reading the argument when it comes to each individual scene. I will just mark Act 1, Scene 1, and then who enters or exits. So I won't be reading all of that material. We'll be going from the prologue onwards. And so we're just going to run through it and feel how it runs. We're not going to... Because if we stopped and started a lot, we'd be mostly talking about what Terence did 2,000-odd years ago, rather than what the early modern translator did, and we'll try and keep moderately on message. So reading today, we had a bit of chaos because I totally mucked up the casting, so hopefully everyone knows who they are. Hopefully all will be well. Reading Phormio themselves is
Sarah Blake, actor, writer and director based in Germany.
Reading the prologue and Demipho is
Aliki, Chapple, actor and translator, based who knows where.
Reading Phedria, Cratinus and Chremes is...
Hi, my name's Elizabeth Amisu and I'm an author based in Essex.
Reading Geta today, or Geta, is...
Briony, Sparrow, actor in Lincolnshire.
Reading Antipho, Hegio and Nasistrata is...
Lynn, Freitas, college composition teacher, Northwestern United States.
And reading Davus, Dorio, Sophrona, and Crito, fingers crossed we remember all of those, is...
Alan, a civilian in Suffolk.
And I'm your host, Robert Crighton. I'll be reading stage directions and generally keeping us moving forward. Fingers crossed all will go well. So, as I say, we'll take the text from the top. We have a prologue, then we go into Act 1. So, prologue away, please.
Since that the elder poet perceiveth he cannot withhold our poet from his endeavours and put him to silence, he goeth about by taunts to terrify him from writing, and thus he gives at him all comedies he had hitherto the made, are both rude in terms and of no moment for matter, because he never writ that the young huntsman ever saw the hind in chase, and the hound in pursuit, and the hind to distill her tears and bray for help. But if he knew that comedy was played, it got the commendation rather by other men's well acting than by the author's good art, he would both less sharply censure other men's labours, and other men would more willingly commend his. If there be any that shall either think or say that had not the old poet provoked him first, the young could not have found out matter for a prologue, unless he had had somebody to reproach, let that man take this for an answer, that in music the prize is propounded to all that can play. The old poet studied how to withdraw him from his muses. Ours was content to answer him, but not to provoke him. If he had used me with good terms, I would have requited him. But no, let him loose, to be paid with such as he brought, that I will make an end of speaking against him, seeing he will make no end of offending against himself. I beseech you a little to attend to my purpose. My meaning is to set forth a new comedy, which the Greeks call epikazamenon, Latin Phormio, because the principal actor in it is Phormio, the parasite. Give therefore diligence that your acceptation may be answerable to my expectation, and bring with you both patience and silence, lest perhaps the like misfortune befall us as happened in the comedy of Hecura, when the tumult drive us from the stage. The excellency of our actor, together with the help of your bounty and favor, hath restored us unto our place.
Act 1, Scene 1. Enter Davus, a servant.
My Geta, my gracious friend and countryman too, came to me yesterday, for there was a little piece of money left long since for certain reckoning betwixt us, that I might gather it up. And I've done so, and now do bring it him. For I heard that his master's son shall marry, and I believe this money is scraped together for his use. But what an evil is this, and those which have little should add ever somewhat to richer than themselves for that which the poor wretch by little and little hath hardly gotten by scraping of his own belly of his monthly pittance. Every penny of that he will take from him, never regarding how hardly he came by it. Nay, and beside this, Geta shall be charged with another present at his mistress' childbirth, yea, moreover with a third at the feast of the child's nativity, and also when they shall offer, all this the mother will take away from him, and the child will be the cause of his sending of presents. Do I not see Geta?
Act 1, Scene 2. Enter Geta to Davus.
If any redhead shall seek me...
He's even here at hand, say no more.
Oh, I laboured, Davus, to meet thee.
No, hold you, it's current. There wants not a penny of that I owed you.
I bear you goodwill, for that you have not neglected my business, I give you hearty thanks.
Especially in this corrupt age, for the world is come to this pass, that a man must give him thanks, and that payeth him home his own. Why are you sad?
What, I? You wot not in what fear and how great peril I stand in.
What's that?
I will let you understand. So be it, you can keep it close.
Away, fool! Fearest thou to credit him with words that put him in trust with thy money? What advantage were it to deceive thee in them?
Then hear me.
I will hear thee to the end.
Know you, Davus, Chremes, our old master's elder brother?
What lets me?
What, know you his son, Phedria?
As well as I know thee.
It's fallen out that both the old men should one time take a journey, Demipho to go Lemnium, and our Chremes to Sicily, to an old friend of his, who hath enticed the old man with pleasant speeches by letters, promising golden mounts.
To him that hath so much, and more than enough.
Hold thy peace, such is his nature.
Oh, it's meet for me to be a rich man, for I could use it if I had his wealth.
Both the old men, when they went at that time forth, left me as tutor to their sons.
Oh, Geta, thou hast taken a hard matter upon thee.
I know it, but this is no new thing with me. I know he left me because my God was angry with me at the first I withstood. But what needs many words? Whilst I am faithful to them, I have lost the use of my arms with bats.
I consider of these things, for what folly is it to kick against the pricks?
I have therefore begun to do everything for them and to follow them in their minds.
You are a tight market man.
Our master's son, Antipho, at the first behaved himself well, but this Phedria out of hand got him a certain singing wench, skilful in music, and fell in love with her over the years, a very covetous, filthy bawd, and their fathers had taken no order to leave anything they could give away. There was only this for them to do, to delight in their looks, to follow, and to go to and fro the dancing school with them. Antipho and I, having nothing else to do, attended upon Phedria. Over against this school where she learned was a certain barber's shop. There commonly were we accustomed to tarry for her, till she should come out to go home. Now, on a time, whilst we sat there, came in the meantime, before she came forth, a certain young man by us weeping. We, marvelling at it, asked him what should be the matter. Poverty was never so grievous and burthensome to me, saith he, as it is even now. I saw ere while here in our gate row, poor maid lamenting for her mother that was dead. She was set over against the place where her mother lay, never a one being with her, neither love nor acquaintance nor kinsman, but only a silly old woman that would help her to bury her mother. This what pitied me to see. The damsel is passing fair. What need I to stand long on this point? She stirred up all our affections, and then Antipho asked forthwith, shall we go see her? I think it meet, so said another, let us go. Have us thither of love, said we, to him that told us on we go. Thither we came and beheld her. The maid was beautiful, and that you may truly report it, it was without decking to make her seem better. Her hair hung about her ears, barefoot she was, herself all undressed. Her cheeks was blubbered with tears, and she had on her face, but that there was a good natural grace in the beauty itself. He that loved her said only thus much, her beauty is well known enough, but our Antipho.
I know he fell in love with her.
But do you know how? Mark whither he goeth. The next day following he goes me straight to the old woman, and desireth her for leave to take his pleasure on her. But the old woman denies him, for it is not meet to do so, saith she being a free denizen of Athens, well brought up, and of good parents. If he would marry her, he might do it by law, otherwise he should not be welcome there. Our young man knew not what he should do. He had a desire to marry, but he feared his father being from home.
Would not his father give him leave if he returned home?
Would he give him leave to marry a penniless wench and a beggar's brat? He would never do it.
Well, what came of it at the last?
What should come of it there is a certain parasite called Phormio, an audacious fellow. I would his neck were broken.
What hath he done?
There is a law, saith he, that damsels left fatherless and motherless should marry to the next of kin. And this selfsame law doth command those of the next kindred to marry them. Now, therefore, I will say, you are her kinsman, and will enter an action against them in her behalf, and I will make as though I were a friend of the maid's father, and we will come before the judge, and I will devise all these things to tell who was her father, who her mother, and how she comes to be your kinswoman, which shall be good and profitable for me. For I shall surely overcome, when you shall recall none of these, your father, it may be, will be present, processes will be out against me. Care I anything for that? We shall surely carry away the wench.
Thou tellest me a bold prank of a merry maid.
The young man was persuaded to it. It's done. The matter is come to the issue, and we are cast, and he hath married her.
Tellest thou me?
That which thou hearest.
Oh, Geta, what shall become of thee?
Verily I know not. This one thing know, what shall fall out by fortune, we shall patiently take it.
I like you well for that. No, that is the part of a wise man.
All my hope hangeth on myself.
I command thee.
I believe I shall go to the spokesman that shall thus entreat for me. I pray you now let him go. I will entreat no more for him hereafter. If he do the like, only this let him not add. When I am gone hence, kill him an you please.
What doth Master Phedria that loveth the musician? Whereabout goes he?
Even thus barely.
It may be he had not much to give her.
Verily nothing but mere hope.
Is his father come home or no?
Not yet.
What? How long shall you look for your old master?
I know not certainly, but I hear say that a letter is brought from him of late, and carried to the customers of the haven. This will I go fetch.
Geta, will you anything else with me?
Nothing, but God speed that you may do well. Ho, boy, comes forth none hither. Take this, give it to Dory.
Act 1, Scene 3, enter Antipho and Phedria.
Surely the matter come to this pass that I should be afraid of my father when I think of his coming home, who wishes that I were very well provided for, but that I was too rash, might have stayed his coming home as it was meet.
What's the matter?
Dost thou ask that are of counsel with me in this so rash an attempt? I would to God Phormio had not given me that counsel, neither forced me thither after my lust, which is now the beginning of mischiefs to me. Had I not obtained her, it would have been a grief to me for a while, but this continual care could not trouble my mind.
I hear you.
Which I have, whilst I do look now soon he may come, who can break this familiarity I have with her.
It is a grief to others, because they want that they love, but it grieveth thee, for that thou hast more than thou wouldest. O Antipho, thou art glutted with love, for in good faith thy life is to be wished and desired. So God love me, as I desire to die, if that I might so long enjoy whom I love, as you have yours. Guess you at the rests what grief I conceive now of this want, and you of that abundance, that I may say nothing of this, that thou hast obtained one of a good nature, well brought up without cost, and that thou hast a wife of an honest report, so as you have desired every one might say you were blessed. But that one thing is wanting, to wit, a mind that could moderately take these things. If you had to do with that hoard, with which I have to do, then you should perceive your happy state now. But such naturally are we all well nigh, that we can away with anything but that which we are.
But on the contrary, Phedria, methink to me you seem to be fortunate that are yet at your free liberty to consult what you mean to keep her, to love, or let her go. I, unlucky, am fallen into that estate that I can neither have leave to keep her nor forsake her. But what is this? Do I not see Geta coming hither? Yes, even he. I fear, wretch that I am, that he brings me some evil news.
Act 1, Scene 4, enter Geta, 2, Antipho and Phedria.
Thou art cast away, Geta, unless now thou canst find out some wise shift out of hand. Such great evils are now so suddenly ready to light upon thee at unawares, which I cannot tell neither which way to avoid, nor how to free myself of them. For longer cannot my adventurous boldness be kept in, which mischiefs, not being wholly foreseen, either my master or I shall pay for it.
Wherefore comes he in a fume?
Also I have but a moment of time allotted me to this matter, for my master is at hand.
What mischief is this?
Which when he shall hear of, how that I pacify his wrath. Should I speak, I shall chafe him more. Should I say nothing, then I set him on. Should I clear myself, I should loose my labour. Alas, poor wretch that I am afraid both in my own behalf, as also my heart is perplexed for Antipho. Him I pity, I am afraid new for him. It's he that holds me here at this time. If he were free in this case, I had well seen to myself and revenged myself upon the old man's anger. I would have privily packed up something and would run my way hence.
What, running away? Worthy every goeth this about.
But where shall I find Antipho? Or which way should I go seek him?
He nameth you.
My heart gives me I shall hear this messenger of some great mischief, but I wot not what.
Alas, art thou in thy wits?
I will go even home. Further he is the oftenest.
Let us call back the fellow.
Geta, go no further now.
Ho, imperiously enough spoken. Be thou whatsoever thou wilt.
Geta,
It's even he himself whom I go to.
tell me, for God's sake, what news thou bringest, if thou canst dispatch in a word.
I will do it.
Speak out.
I saw erewhile at the haven.
What, my father?
Alas,
What should I do?
what What sayest thou?
I say that I saw your uncle, this man's father.
For what remedy can I find of a sudden of this destruction, if my fortune be so that thou and I, Phania, should part? I will no longer live.
Therefore, Antipho, seeing these things are thus, it is so much the meeter for you to see to yourself, for fortune is a friend to none faint-hearted.
I know not what I do.
But thou hast most need, Antipho, to know what thou doest. For if your father shall perceive thee to be afraid, he will think that you have deserved blame.
This is true.
I cannot be changed.
What would you do if you were now driven to a worse pinch?
Sith I cannot do this, much less should you do that.
Oh, Phedria, this is but a fool we may be jogging. What do we spending our labour in vain upon him? Why am not I going hence?
And verily I too.
I pray you, for God's sake, what if I counterfeit? Is that enough?
You trifle.
Look me in the face. Lo, is it not well enough?
No,
What if I look so?
it's almost well.
What if I look in this manner?
Good enough, lo, keep this, and see you answer word for word, and like for like, least in his fume he with his rough speeches beats out of countenance.
I know thy meaning.
Tell him you were constrained by force against your will, by law, sentence of the judge. Do you understand? What old man is this at the further end of the street?
It's he himself. I cannot abide his coming.
Alas, what dost thou whither you run? What dost thou whither run you, Antipho? Stay! I say stay!
I myself know my natural fear and mine offense, but I put you first with Fanny and my life.
What shall we do?
You shall hear even now in this fretting fume. I shall be hanged unless something happens that I look not for. But, Phedria, we ourselves do that which or while we taught here Antipho.
Away with this music, and rather will thou me what I shall do.
You remember what our speech hath been here for in the beginning of the matter for the defence of the trespass, do you not? And the cause to be lawful, not difficult, easy to obtain the upper hand, and very good.
I remember it.
Lo, that we have need of now, or a better, or more subtle if it be found out.
It shall be done out of hand.
Now set you before upon him. Here will I lie in a bush to make a supply, if you shall fail in anything.
Go to then.
Act 1, Scene 5, enter Demipho, or featuring Demipho, Geta, and Phedria.
Yea, is it so? Hath Antipho at length married without my bidding? Regarded he neither my power over him, but go to, I let authority pass, nor feared my displeasure. At the least, ought not he to have been ashamed of it? Oh, rash attempt. Oh, Geta, thou his teacher.
Hardly at length. I thought he had forgotten me.
What will they say to me? What excuse will they allege for themselves? Marvel.
I have invented one already. Care you for somewhat else?
Will he say this to me? I have done it against my will. The law hath compelled me. I hear, I confess it.
You content me well.
Yea, but hath the law forced him, wittingly, without gainsay, to yield his cause to the adversary?
That's a pestilent blow, hard to be answered.
I will help thee out with it. Let him alone.
I wot not what I should do, because this hath happened to me unlooked for. Would I have ever believed it? I am so chafed, cannot settle my mind to think what is best to be done. Wherefore, it behoveth every man, when he is in most prosperity, to think with himself how he could bear great adversity. Let him always think, coming homeward from far off, dangers, losses, banishment, either of his son's misdemeanor, or his wife's death, or his daughter's sickness. These are things common, and may fall out that when they come, he may know no more than he knew before. Whatsoever may hap unlooked for, account that as were good.
Oh, Phedria, you do not believe how far I excel my master in wit, for I have thought of all the discommodities that may come me. If my master shall come home again, I have thought I must grind continually in the mill. I must be cudgelled, I must be shackled, I must do work in the country. None of these things shall be news to me when they fall out. Whatsoever contrary to hope shall happen, I will account that as gained. But why make you no more haste to go unto him, and first with fair speeches salute him?
I see my brother is sick. Others will meet me.
My good uncle, God save you.
God save you. But where is Antipho?
I'm glad of your return.
I believe you. Answer me this.
He is well. He is here. But is everything to your pay?
Truly I would it were.
What's this?
Dost thou ask, Phedria? You have made a fair marriage here since I went.
Oh, it's for you that you are angry with him?
Oh, skilful craftsman.
What, should I not be angry with him? I greatly desire to have a sight of him, that he may know that through his own default he hath made his gentle father the fellest man in the world.
But uncle, he has done nothing for which you should be angry with him.
Lo, all alike, all feathered on one wing, no one and no all.
It is not so.
This, my son, is in the fault, and he is here to defend his causes, and when he is away, this fellow is here. They help one another.
The old fellow hath painted out cunningly their deeds at unawares.
But these things are thus, Phedria, thou wouldst not take his part.
Uncle, if it be that Antipho hath committed a trespass whereof it may be thought that he should not be provident for his goods or good name, I will not plead for him. But let him have as he deserveth. But if by any by chance, through deceit lying in lurch for our young years to entrap us, and so have gotten the better, are we therein to be blamed, all the judges, who oftentimes of envy take from the rich, or of pity give to the poor?
But that I know the matter, I might believe that he speaks the truth.
Is there any judge that can know your matter to be right, wherein you yourself answer not one word, as he hath done?
He hath done the part of a good-natured young man. For after he came before the judges, he could not utter what he thought to have delivered. Bashfulness so daunted him, being also naturally fearful.
I commend this fellow, but I make no quick speed to go unto the old man, master. God save you. I am glad that you have come in safety.
Oh, good keeper, God save you, the stay, verily, of our house, to whom I committed my son at my going from hence.
I heard you long since accuse us all undeserving, and of all these sue most unworthily. For what would you have me to have done in this matter for you? The laws permit not any man a servant to plead, nor to bear witness.
Let all these pass. And take this too, that the indiscreet young man was afraid. I give thee leave to say thou art a servant, but though thee being the nighest of kin, yet followeth not necessarily that he should have her, but he should have given her a dowry. That's it which the law commandeth, and so should she fee another husband. What reason had he rather to marry her than to do so?
There was no reason but want of money.
Might have borrowed it of another.
Of some other, it's an easy matter to say it.
At last, if he could borrow it by no other means, he should have taken it upon usury.
Ha ha ha! Ah, you have well said. If verily any would credit him, you sayest he cannot be credited. Well, howsoever it is thus, it shall not be, thus it may not be. Should I permit her to be married one day with him, they have deserved no courtesy at my hand. I would either be let to see this paltry fellow, or else be shown where he dwell. To wit, Phormio.
That woman's patron.
I will bring it about that he shall be here.
Where's Antipho now?
Without,
Go, Phedria, seek him out and bring him hither.
I go straight my way thither.
To wit, unto Pamphila.
I will hence turn by home to salute and adore my household gods. After that, I will go to the marketplace and call some of my friends to be present at the handling of this matter, that I may not be unprovided when Phormio shall come.
And that's it for Act 1. Act 2, Scene 1, featuring Phormio and Geta or Geta.
Yea, sayest thou that he went hence and durst not look his father in the face?
He was greatly afraid.
Is Fanny, sayest thou, left alone?
Yea.
And that the old man was angry?
Wonderful.
Oh, Phormio, the whole charge is laid on thy back. Thou thyself did cram it, thou therefore must eat it up all. Self-due, self-have to prepare thyself.
I beseech thee, for God's sake, do so.
If he shall ask.
My hope is in thee.
My Ceres, what will Antipho answer if he shall restore again the woman?
He will say thou provokest him to her.
I think so.
Help, I pray thee, us both.
Well, I have now all my devices fit in my head. Now let the old man come.
What wilt thou do?
What else wouldst thou have me to do, but that Fanny may abide and may clear Antipho of this fault, and so turn all the old man's displeasure against me?
Oh, valiant man, and our friend, but I am often in fear of this, Phormio, lest this thy manhood, in conclusion, bring thee to trouble.
Tush, it's not so. Trial hath been made. I know which way now to die if anything happen. How many, thinkest thou, that I have me left dead with bats, strangers, as also citizens? The better I knew them, the more I laid on. But tell me, when didst thou ever have any action of trespass entered against me?
Why say you this?
Because men do lay not a net for a hawk, or for the kite which injure us, but for those which do no harm. For that in these is profit, in catching the other labour is but lost. Other are in danger by some other mean, from whom anything may be gotten. Now, they know that I have naught, but thou wilt say they will have me home, being cast, but I tell thee they will maintain no rancour, and in my opinion they are wise if they will not do a man a great pleasure for doing them an evil turn.
Antipho is not able to requite you sufficiently as you deserve.
Nay, rather no parasite can recompense his master as he is worthy. Whether canst thou requite him for this, to come shot free, anointed and washed from the baths, to take no care for anything when he is spent with care and cost? Whilst thou hast thy delight, he frets with himself. Whilst thou mayst laugh, thou mayst drink before him, sit down before him. A doubtful supper is set on the table.
What is that word, doubtful?
Where there is such variety, ours thou must doubt which to take of first. When you reckon how delectable and how dear these things be, would you not account him that bestows them to be as a god indeed before thy eyes, whom thou canst not requite?
The old man is at hand. See to your business. The first encounter is very fierce. If thou shalt sustain that brunt, afterwards you may play with him as you please.
Act 2, Scene 2. Enter Demipho to Geta and Phormio.
Oh, have you ever heard any to be injuried more spitefully than I am? Come ye hither, I pray you.
He is in a fume.
Nay.
Attend to this. We are about. Let him alone. I will vex him even now, thou shalt see. Oh, the immortal gods! Doth Demipho deny Fanny to be his kinswoman, and doth Demipho say she is none of his kin?
He denieth it.
I think it's even he I was speaking of. Follow me.
And faith, he also that knoweth not who was her father,
He saith he knows not.
and denies be that he knows not Stilpho what he was,
He denieth it.
because the poor wench is barely left, therefore he knows not her father, and so she is nor esteemed of. See, masters, what covetousness makes a man do.
If you shall accuse my master of covetousness, I will tell you your name.
Oh, audacious fellow. He even comes voluntarily to accuse me.
For now there is no cause why I should be offended with the young man, if he knew not that Stilpho, for that he was then an old man in poverty, living upon his hand labour, and did keep himself always in a manner in the country. There he had in farm arable ground of my father. This old man during that time did tell me how that this Demipho made small reckoning of him, being his near kinsman. But what a man did he thus lightly account of? The honestest man that ever I knew in my life.
Lo, you commend him and yourself.
Go hang thyself, for unless I had thought him to have been such a one, I could never procure such a great disfavour for this woman's sake against our stock, which he now contemneth so uncourteously.
Dost thou yet, filthy varlet, hold on to rail my master behind his back?
I speak but that he deserveth.
Yea, sayest thou so, thief?
Geta.
A troubler of good men and a wrester of laws.
Geta.
Answer him.
Who calleth me?
Whist!
Master, he hath all this day long given railing speeches against you, which you are unworthy of, but he hath deserved it himself.
I say no more. Young man, first of all, I desire this of thee, with thy good leave, that if it might please you, you would make me an answer. What, friend, say you this of yours was, and make it known to me who should say that I was his kinsman.
You are so inquisitive about this, as though you did not know him.
Did I know him?
Yea, that you did.
But I say I did not. Thou that affirmed it, call thyself to remembrance.
Ho! Know you not your cousin Germain?
That makes me mad. Tell me his name.
His name? Forsooth, that I will.
Why dost thou hold thy peace?
Alas, I am undone in good sooth. I have quite forgot it.
What sayest thou?
Geta, call me to mind if thou rememberest that which I told thee long since. And nay, I will not now tell you, as though you know it not. You do it to try me.
Do I make a trial of thee?
Stilpho.
Verily, what need I tell his name? He is called Stilpho.
Who, sayest thou?
I say, knew you not Stilpho?
I neither knew him, neither was any of that name my kinsman.
It's even so. Are you not ashamed of these speeches? But if he had left behind him substance worth £700,
I would to God thy neck were broken.
then you would have been the first to make relation, fetching readily your progeny from his grandfather and great-grandfather.
Even so, as thou sayest. But if I had come then, I could have told you how she is thy kinswoman. Do you now in like manner tell me how she is thy kinswoman?
Oh, well done, master. Oh, sirrah, look to yourself.
I have plainly told it before the judges to whom I ought. If then I had spoken an untruth, why hath not your son refuted it?
Oh, I tell the sow of my son, whose folly I cannot sufficiently condemn.
But go you that are a wise man to the magistrate, that they may give sentence on your side upon the same matter, because you alone bear rule, and to whom only it's lawful here to get judgment twice upon one matter.
Albeit I be injured, nevertheless, rather than I would follow sure or hear thee, even after the same manner, as though she were my kinswoman, you'd better to give her a dowry. That is what the law commands. Carry her with thee and take £5.
He's a pleasant man.
What's the matter? Do I ask that as not reason? May I not indeed obtain this, which is mine by the common law?
Yea, I pray you, when you have abused a free-born maid, doth the law will to give her a reward and to send her packing? Or whether is she not rather commanded to be given to her next kinsman, that she may live with one which none forbid, lest she, being a free denizen, should through poverty suffer herself to be abused?
So it doth indeed to the next of kin. But from whence comes it that we are of kindred? Or for what cause?
Oh, it's a common saying. Your labour is but lost when you would mend that which is past recovery.
I will not play such a part. Verily, I will not cease till I fully end this matter.
You play not a wise man's part.
Let me put alone.
To make an end, Demipho, I have naught to do with you. It's your son that is adjudged to marry her, and not you, for you are past marrying.
Suppose him to say all that I do now say, or else truly that I will forbid him and his wife my house.
He is angry.
You yourself will do better than that same which you say.
Yes, are you unlucky varlet, so ready to do everything against me?
He feareth as, albeit he dissembles much.
You begin well.
But take you patiently whatsoever is to be suffered. Do as it shall be meet for you to do, that friendship may be betwixt us.
What, do I crave thy friendship? Or have I any will either to see or hear thee?
If you will agree with her, you shall have wherewith to delight your old age. Consider your years.
Have her to thyself, let her delight thee.
But I pray you mitigate your anger.
And to this there hath now been words enough. Unless thou make speed to have away the woman, I will throw her out of the doors. I have told thee my mind, Phormio.
If you handle her that wise, then is meet for one freeborn, I will bring sharp process against you. I have told you my mind, Demipho. Huh. If any need shall be, thou shalt find me in my house.
I know your meaning.
Act 2, Scene 3. On stage we have Demipho, Geta, Hegio, Cratinus, and Crito.
How careful and heavy-hearted hath my son made me, that hath hobbled me and himself by this marriage. Neither comes he in sight, that at the least I may know what he can say for this matter, what he thinks of it. Go thou and see whether yet he be come home or no.
I go.
You see in what state these matters stand, or what shall I do? Tell me, Hegio.
I think Cratinus meets to tell you if you think it good.
Tell me, Cratinus.
Well, you have me to tell you.
You.
I would have you for your profit. This is my opinion, that it is both honesty and equity, that what your son hath done in your absence, it be all as nothing, but to be as at the first, and that shall you prevail in it. I've said.
Now, Hegio, say your mind?
I believe he hath spoken truly his mind, but it's a true saying, as many men, so many wits, every hath his own way. For I am of another mind, and think that things done by law cannot be broke, and it's an undecent thing to be begun.
Say you, Crito?
I think it good to deliberate more thereof, for the matter is great.
Will you anything with us?
You have done well. I am now more uncertain what to do than of late.
They say that he is not returned.
I must wait for my brother, and I will do that which he advised me concerning this marriage. I will go and ask for him at the port, to which place it may be he is gone.
But I will seek Antipho, that he may know what we have done here. But lo, I see him come hither in good time.
And Act 3, Scene 1, scene with Antipho and Geta.
In good sooth, Antipho, thou art much to be blamed for this faint heart of yours. Was it convenient thou shouldst have so left this place and committed thy life to the preservation of others? Thoughtest thou that others would look better to thy matter than thou thyself? For howsoever other things thou should look to her that is at thy house, lest she be deceived through trust in thee, should take any harm, whose poor hope, wretch, and what wealth soe'er she hath depends only upon thee.
And truly, master, we blamed you even now in your absence, because you went away.
I did look for thee.
But we failed you never a whit now for all that.
Speak for God's sake in what state my matter stands, and in what my estate is. Doth my father perceive anything?
Verily nothing.
And what further hope remaineth?
I cannot tell.
Alas.
But that Phedria ceased not to labour in your behalf.
He hath done no new thing.
Phormio, also in this matter, as in others, hath showed himself a valiant fellow.
What hath he done?
He confuted thy father, that was very angry, with words.
Phormio, I owe thee a good turn.
And I, besides, did what I was able.
Oh, my Geta, you have all my heart.
Thus the entrances are made, as I say. The matter is yet in quietness, and your father will tarry for your uncle until he come.
Why will he tarry for him?
To do as he shall advise him, as he said in that which appertaineth to this thing.
Oh, Geta, how greatly I do fear my uncle's safe coming hither, for as I understand by his sentence, I shall either live or die.
Phedria is here at hand.
Where?
Lo, he cometh forth at the school doors.
Act 3, Scene 2, enter Phedria, Dorio, 2, Antipho and Geta.
Dorio, I pray thee, hark.
I will not hearken.
A little while.
Nay, let me alone.
Hear what I will say.
But it irketh me to hear how now things 1,000 times told me.
But now I will say that thou shalt like to hear.
Then say on, I hear.
Can I not obtain this by entreaty to stay this 3 days? Whither go you now?
I wonder that you should tell me any novelty.
Alas, I fear the board, lest he make a rod for his own tail.
And I fear the same.
Dost thou not believe me?
Yes.
But if I promise of my fidelity,
All will be but tales.
thou shalt say yourself that you are well recompensed for this benefit.
Words.
Believe me, you will rejoice when it is done. Verily, this is true.
A dream.
Try, the time is not long.
You sing all one song.
You shall be my cousin, my father, my friend, you.
Now you tattle.
What will you show yourself to be of so hard a nature and so entreatable, as that you can be appeased neither by pity nor by prayer?
Phedria, thinkst thou me to be so undiscreet and foolish that thou canst deceive me gaudy terms, and so lead mine away for nothing?
The bawd takes pity on Phedria.
Alas, I am trodden down with the truth.
Oh, who very like is either party to himself?
Ah, how could I wish that this evil had not been set against me, when Antipho should be occupied in a more serious matter of great care, for then he would have helped me.
Oh, what is this, dear Phedria?
Oh, most fortunate Antipho,
What, I?
that hast that at home thou lovest, nor ever hast had need to be with such a bad fellow.
I have I her at home? Verily, as men say, I hold the wolf by the ears, for I cannot find advice how I may send her away, neither know I how to keep her.
My case is even the very same.
Well, go to, be not too cheap abroad. Hath this man done anything for thee?
What this? For that he is a most churlish fellow, he hath sold my Pamphylia.
What hath he sold her?
What sayest thou? Hath he sold her?
He hath sold her.
What foul fault hath he committed to sell her, who he bought with his own money?
And I cannot entreat him that she may stay, and to alter his word with him. But this 3 days, till I fetch that money which I promised from my friends, if then I shall not give it him, that he then should not stay 1 hour longer.
Thou detestest me.
It is not a long time he asketh of you, Dorio. Let him obtain his request, and he shall double requite that, which you shall well deserve.
These are but words.
Will you suffer Pamphylia to be deprived of this city, and shall you able to permit besides the love of these to be pulled in sunder?
Neither can I nor you suffer it.
God send thee as good as thou deservest.
I've suffered the contrary to my nature these many months, promising, lamenting, but bringing nothing. Now, contrary to these, I've found out one that is able to give, and need not mourn for want. Give therefore place to your betters.
In very deed, if I well remember, there was a day set down on which you should have given to this man money.
It was so.
Do I deny this?
What? Is the day past?
No, but this day has come before it.
Art thou not ashamed of thy lightness?
No, as long as I do it for my profit.
Oh, thou dunghill!
I pray you, is it me to do so, Dorio?
This is my quality. If I like you, use me.
Dost thou so deceive this man?
Nay, rather indeed, Antipho, he has deceived me. For he knew that I was such a one, but I took him to be another manner of man. He has beguiled me. I am to him the same as I was. But howsoever the matter stands, yet this will I do. Tomorrow morning the soldier said he would give me money. If thou wilt, Phedria, bring me before, I will do as I see good. He shall speed first, their pace first.
Act 3, Scene 3, Dorio exits, leaving Phedria, Antipho, and Geta.
What should I do? Where should I, poor wretch, of a sudden find out money to this fellow that have somewhat less than nothing? But if he could be entreated for this 3 days, as promise was.
But, Geta, shall we suffer this, our friend Phedria, to be in so pitiful a case, who of late, as thou toldest me, willingly hath hope in me? Rather, since necessity require it, let us essay again to requite him.
I know verily this is but right, you say.
Go to then, for thou alone art able to save him.
What should I do?
Get him the money.
I wish that I could, but instruct me where I may fetch it.
My father dwells hereby.
I know that, but what then?
Ha, a word to a wise man is enough.
Is it even so?
Even so.
In good sooth, you give me good counsel, and you go hence. I rejoice not of your marrying, if I come by no harm, but that in this trouble you must command me to seek my death for this man's cause.
He speaketh truth.
What? Am I, Geta, a stranger to you?
I do not so think, but is it a small matter that the old man be angry now with us all, but that also we should provoke him on still, so that he may now no way be entreated?
Shall another have her away from hence into an unknown country where I shall never see her again? Oh, therefore, whilst this small time serves, and I am present, speak with me, Antipho. Look on me.
Why, or tell me, what are you about to do?
I am fully determined to follow her, to what place soever in the earth she shall be carried, or else to lose my life.
God prosper that you are about to do, yet be not over hasty.
See if thou canst do him any good.
Any what?
Devise some counsel, I pray thee, lest he should do either more or less that hereafter may grieve us, Geta.
I devise a way. He is in safety, as I think, but I fear some evil.
Fear not, for we will bear good and evil together with thee.
How much money need you? Speak.
But 30 pounds.
30? Wow! Oh, Phedria, she is a very dear piece.
Nay, but she's very cheap.
Go to. I will deliver it when I have gotten them.
Oh,
Oh, merry mate,
Get you hence.
now have I need.
You shall even now carry the money, but I stand in need of Phormio's help about this matter.
he is at hand. Be very bold to lay on him any burden he will bear it. He is the only man that's a friend to his friend.
Let us therefore go to him quickly.
Go your way. Will him be at hand in a readiness?
Stand you any need of my help?
No, but go you your way home, and comfort that poor fowl whom I know now to be within, astonished for very fear. Do you loiter?
There is nothing that I can do so willing.
What way will you do this thing?
I will tell you in our journey, only get you from hence by a side.
And that's it for Act 3. Act 4, Scene 1. Enter Demipho and Chremes.
What? Wherefore went you, Chremes, from hence to Lemnum? Who brought your son?
No.
Why have you not done so?
After his mother sees me to tarry longer here than she deemed I would, as also that maid being marriageable stayed not my negligent deferring of time. They said she came with her whole family to me.
Why then, I pray you, stayed you there so long, after that you had heard that?
In truth, sickness held me.
How came you by it? What manner of disease was it?
Do you ask that? Old age itself is a disease, but I have heard of the mariner that brought them, that they arrived in safety.
Chremes, have you heard what had happened to my son in my absence?
Yes, which deed verily makes me uncertain what advice is best to be taken. For if I shall make this conditional to offer a foreigner, I must tell in order after what manner and whereupon it ariseth that she is my daughter. But I knew you to be as faithful to me as myself. If that stranger will give me his kinsman, he shall hold his peace, as long as we are friends. But if he shall despise me, I will you to wit, he shall know more than is needful, and I fear me, lest some way my wife should know of this, which if it come to pass, it's only my refuge to cast myself forth and to go out of my house, for I'm only mine own of mine own.
I knew it to be so, and this matter is a trouble to me. Neither will I cease to make a trial until I have brought that about for you, which I have promised.
Act 4, Scene 2. Enter Geta Solus.
I never knew a craftier fellow than Phormio. I come to the fellow to tell him that we stand in need of money, and how we may get it, but before I have ended half my tale, he understood the whole. He was glad, he commended me, he sought out the old man, and thanked God that occasion was offered whereby he might show himself a friend as well to Phedria as Antipho. I willed the fellow to stay for me at the marketplace, for thither, I said, I would bring the old man. But see ye him? Who is the other beyond him? Ah, ha, ha! Phedria's father is come. But why feared I him, beast that I am? For that two are offered to me, that I may deceive them instead of one. I think it to be more profitable to use a double. I will ask of this, of whom I purposed from the beginning, it's sufficient if he give, and I will set upon this stranger.
Act 4, Scene 3. Enter Antipho to Geta with Chremes and Demipho.
It looks like Geta returned hither out of him, but I see my uncle and my father standing together. Woe is me! What fear I am in to consider whither this man's coming may drive my father.
I will go to these men. Oh, our friend Chremes, God save you.
God save thee, Geta.
I take joy to see you come safe home.
I believe thee.
What's done?
Many new matters here have happened to me coming home, as is usual with me.
What have you heard of Antipho? What he has done?
I have heard all.
Had you told him, Demipho? Oh, Chremes, it is an unworthy prank to be thus cozened.
I talked commodiously about it with this, my brother, continually.
For indeed, I, beating my head about it, have, as I think, found a remedy for this matter.
What's that, Geta? What remedy is that?
As I went from you, by chance, Phormio met me.
What Phormio?
He who thrust this upon us.
I know him.
I thought good to try his mind. I could know, say I, why do you not look that these things may be agreed upon betwixt us? If they may rather with favour, then I will. My master is frank-hearted, and escheweth strife in the law, for in good sooth erewhile all the rest of our friends persuaded him with one consent to cast her down headlong out of the bride-chamber.
What doth this fellow begin, and whither will he now?
Wilt thou say that the law shall punish him if he cast her out? That's now already perfectly known. He shall now have enough to do if you begin with this fellow. He has so smooth a tongue. But suppose that he be overcome yet nevertheless. His matter in question is not of life and death, but of money, because I perceive the fellow to be somewhat appeased with these speeches. We are now, I say, here alone. Ha! Tell me, what wouldst thou take in hand that thy master should give over his suit? Let her go her way hence, and do not thou trouble us.
Are not the gods favourable enough unto us?
For I know well enough, if you will speak any point of right and reason, so good a man, that there shall not be any falling out betwixt us today.
Sorry, I'm lost. Is it me?
Yeah, so who hath willed you?
Who hath willed you? Who hath willed you to speak these things?
Verily, we could no better way come thither whither we would otherwise.
I am utterly undone.
Tell on thy tale.
But at the first, the fellow be wooed.
Tell me, what doth he demand?
What? Too much, even as much as he list.
Say,
If any would give £80.
nay, rather in good sooth, if any would do him any evil turn. How is it that he is not ashamed to ask so much?
Verily, so I told him that. I pray you, what aid if he should marry his only daughter? It is little profit not to have begotten, for another is found that can demand a dowry. But that I may short talk and let pass these ties, this to conclude was his last speech. I'faith, he from the beginning have desired to take my friend's daughter to wife, as it was meet, for I did think of that discourse of duty, that a poor maiden should be but a very drudge, but I stood in need of such a wife, that I may speak plainly to thee, as might bring me somewhat, whereby I might discharge that I owe. And therefore now, if Demipho be minded to give so much as I receive of this woman, which is betrothed to me, I would marry this.
I know not whether I should say this fellow does these things through or subtlety, or whether of knowledge or ignorance. I am not sure.
What if he had his life?
His ground he hath mortgaged out for £10.
Go to, let him marry her, I will give it him.
Certain little cottages also are in pawn for other.
Out, alas, it's too much.
Why
Out.
not out? Fetch these 10 on me.
He must buy a maid for his wife, and then he stands heed of a little more household good, and he wants money to lay out for the marriage. Suppose, saith he, for these things £10.
Let him for this thing rather enter 600 actions against me. I will not give a penny. How dare the naughty knave mock me?
I pray you, be content. I will give it, make you only your son to marry her, whom we would have him.
Woe is me, Geta, thou hast undone me utterly by this deceit.
For my sake is she passed out, it's meet that I ledger the money.
Let me understand their minds, saith he, as soon as you can, if they will give me her, that I may let this alone, at least I say in an uncertainty, for they have determined even now to give me a dowry with this.
He shall receive it even now. Let him signify back again to the divorcement, and let him marry this.
Truly, I pray God he never thrive with it.
Very fitly, now have I brought money with me, the fruit which my wife's ground yields me at Lemnon. I will take that, and will tell my wife that you stand need of it.
And Act 4, Scene 4, it's Antipho and Geta.
Geta,
Oh,
what hast thou done?
I have wiped the old men's noses of the money.
Is that enough?
Verily, I know not. This much I was bid do.
Thou knave, dost thou answer me another thing than I ask?
What then do you ask?
What then should I tell thee? By thy means I am come to the state that I may go hang myself. And verily, I pray and wish to the gods, goddesses above and below, that an evil end may light upon thee for example to others. Oh, if they would have anything done, commit it to this fellow who can bring thee out of safety into danger. What was less commodious than to touch this sore or to name a wife? My father is in hope that she may be thrust out. Tell me now, if Phormio shall receive the dowry, he must marry his wife home. What shall be done?
He shall not marry her.
I know, but when thou shall fetch back again the money, verily for my sake he shall the rather go into the jail.
There is nothing, Antipho, but it may be corrupted by wrong telling. You take out the best and speak the worst. Now hear me on. The other side. If now he shall receive the money, he must be married, as you say, I grant it you. Yet, pray you, there will be a little time given for preparing the marriage, to call friends to it, and to sacrifice. Yea, whilst these things are a-doing, Phedria's friends will give the money they have promised. Thereupon he shall restore it to those.
Wherefore, or what shall he say?
Do you ask? How many things? After those monsters happened to me, a strange black dog went into the house, a snake fell from the tiles through the water gutter, a hen, Crew the wizard hath interdicted it, the witch hath forbidden before winter to begin any new business, which is a very good excuse. These things shall be done.
Would to God they were done now.
They shall be done. Look me in the face. Your father comes forth. Away. Tell Phedria that I have money for him.
Act 4, Scene 5. Demipho, Geta, and Chremes.
I say I will see to it. At least they should deceive me. I will never unadvisedly let this money go from me, but I will take witness that I give it, will make rehearsal for what cause I do give it.
How wary is this man where no need is?
He hath need to do so. But make haste whilst he is in the same mind, for he will peradventure cast us off, if that other shall be more urgent upon him.
Thou hast considered the matter as it is.
Then have me to him.
With all speed I can.
After thou hast done this, go over to my wife, that he may talk with this before, that he go hence. Let him say that we will give her Phormio to marry. Will him that he should be angry, for that he is more meet for her, because he himself is better acquainted with her, and say that we have omitted no part of our duty, and that he shall have as great a dowry given him as he hath desired.
What a vengeance haste thou to do with it?
It much concerneth me, Demipho.
Is it not enough for you to have done your duty, if praise approve it not?
I desire that this may be done with his will also, lest he should report that she was cast out.
I myself can do that.
A woman can agree better with a woman than a man with a woman.
I will ask.
I muse now where I may find.
And that's it for Act 4. Act 5, Scene 1. Enter Sophrona and Chremes.
What should I do? Whom shall I find to be my friend, poor caitiff? Or to whom shall I reveal these secrets? Or of whom shall I require to aid me, for fear lest my mistress should be unjustly wronged through my persuasion? I hear that the young man's father suffers these things that are done so much against his mind.
What dismayed old woman is this, which comes out from my brothers?
Which poverty compelled me to do when I knew the uncertainty of this marriage, and necessity forced me to give that advice that her life might be in safety in the mean season.
In truth, except I be deceived, or my eyes be not mates, I see my daughter's nurse.
Neither is it sought out for her.
What should I do?
Who's her father?
Shall I go to her, or stay till I know the things better which she speaks?
But if I may find him, there is no cause why then I should fear.
It's even she. I will speak with her.
Who's that talkest?
Sophrona,
And telleth my name.
look towards me.
Ye gods, is this Stilvo?
No,
Do you deny it?
come hither this way of good love, Sophrona, out of the doors a little. Call me not hereafter by this name.
What? I pray you, are you not he whom you have often told that you were?
Yes,
What fear you these doors?
I have here within a shrewd wife, but concerning this name I have spoken false in former times for that end, lest peradventure undiscreetly you should blab it abroad, and that my wife besides some way might come to the knowledge of it.
Alas, by this mean poor caitiffs, could we never have found you out here?
Oh, tell me what have you to do with this family? From whence thou comest, for where are they?
Oh, poor wretch that I am.
Alas, what's the matter? Are they living?
Your daughter is alive, but her mother, for grief of mind, is departed.
It is unluckily fallen out.
And that I was an old woman forsaken, poor and unknown, have done what I have been able, and have married the maid to this young man, which is the owner of this house.
What, to Antipho?
Aye, even to the same.
What, hath he two wives?
No more, I pray you. He hath no more but this one.
What's that other which is said to be his kinswoman?
This is she.
What say you?
It's done a purpose. Otherwise, they know not how this lover could have had her else without a dowry.
Oh, you faithful gods! How often unadvisedly fall they out, which a man dare not with. Coming hither, I found that my daughter placed with him that I did wish, and as I desire. What we with great labour endeavoured to bring to pass, this woman, alone without our great care, hath done it.
Now, see what's needful to be done. The young man's father comes, who they say takes this very impatiently.
There's no dangers, but for the love of God and man, beware no man know it, that she is mine.
None shall know it of me.
Follow me the rest you shall hear within.
Act 5, Scene 2. Enter Demipho and Geta.
Through our default, we make men say that it's better to be evil, whilst we labor too much to be reputed good and loving. So, let a man fly, as men say, that he pass not his cottage. Was not that enough to take wrong at him, but that money must be offered him without asking, that it may maintain him until he brings some other mischief to pass.
It's altogether true that you say.
It's now a reward to these that make right things crooked.
Most truly spoken.
Oh, how very foolishly, truly, we have yielded to him.
Only I would to God it may be by this advice, it may be by this advice be driven to this point, that he may marry this maid.
Is that yet in doubt?
Truly I know not, as he is but a man, whether he will change his mind.
Change his mind, indeed.
I cannot tell. I say, but if peradventure he do.
So I will do, as my brother hath counselled, that he may bring hither his wife to speak with this maid. Go thy way, Geta, and tell beforehand that this Chremes wife will come to her.
We have found our money for Phedria. There is no mention made of the contention. It's foreseen that this Phedria's paramour go now away at this time. What's now behind what shall be done? Thou stickest still in the same mire. Thou shalt gain nothing by this, Geta. The present evil which was is but prolonged. Thy punishment groweth greater, unless thou foresee it. Now will I go hence home and instruct Fanny that she do not anything for fear Phormio or his talk.
Act 5, Scene 3. Enter Demipho and Nasistrata. Chremes will enter later.
Come on, Nasistrata, thou must help to make us friends again, that he may go about this matter willingly.
I'll do so much for you.
I pray thee, stand my friend, and lend me a little money once again.
Content, I will, and yet I thank my husband I cannot help you so much as I could willingly part with.
Why so?
Because he doth not play the good husband with the goods which my father, I wot well, took good pains for. But he got quickly 260 pounds in odd money by our 2 farms at Lemnum. See what odds there is between man and man.
What, 200 pounds?
Aye, surely. He got no less when corn was cheaper, a good deal now than it is now.
Oh, God, how could that he?
What dost thou make a wonder at?
Truly.
I had been a man, I would have showed thee quickly how.
I think so.
Which way, think you?
Nay, but stay a little and rest thyself, that thou mayst be better able to talk with her, lest she be too good for thee, because she is a young lusty guts.
And merry and well said, I care not if I do. But stay, Sarah, methinks I see my husband come from your house.
Oh, Demipho, have you given him the money?
I discharged that presently.
I would you had not given it yet. God's bodykin, my wife is here. I had liked to have marred all.
Why would you not have me give it him?
Nay, now all's well.
Let's say, have you talked with this party about whom we brought hither your wife?
I talked with her.
What saith she now?
She will not by any means.
Why will she not?
Because they love one another entirely.
What's that to us?
Yes, very much. Besides this, I hear she say she is our kinswoman.
What? Dost thou doubt?
So it will prove. I know what I say. Bethink you yourself as well as I do.
Is this good fellow well in his wits, trow ye?
I pray thee take heed, speak not against our cousin.
She is none of my cousin.
Do not say so. Her father indeed is called by another name, and therein thou art deceived.
Did not he know her father?
Yes, he did.
Why then did he call him by another name?
Wilt thou neither believe me today nor understand me?
Yes, if thou tellest me nothing.
What, more anger yet?
I marvel, what's the matter?
Truly, I know not.
Would you fain know? As God save me, I know none is nearer allied unto her than you and I.
Good God, this is strange. Let's go all together unto her. I'll know what's the matter. Off we're on.
Alas, alas.
Well, what ails you?
Ah, Sirrah, that I cannot be no better believed at your hand.
Will you have me believe you? And will you believe me that I have inquired after the matter sufficiently? Be it so. Say then, what shall become of this gentlewoman, our friend's daughter?
She shall do well enough.
How then? Shall we send away your wife?
What else?
Must thou her go?
I mean so.
Then you may be gone now, Nasistrata.
Surely I think this is a better course for all parts than that she should stay, as you were once minded. For I said as soon as I saw her that she is a very kind wench.
What's here to do?
What, does she keep house already?
Already?
Oh, good God. We rode on the right side today. I hear say there is a marriage between my daughter and your son.
Huh? How could that be?
This is no place to tell you.
Well, then go in and tell me.
But Sirrah, neighbour, let nor your son and mine know of this gear, I advise you.
Act 5, Scene 4, enter Antipho, Solus.
I am glad, howsoe'er mine own matters go, that my brother hath sped well. It is a wife's part to content oneself with so low an estate, as that when adversity comes, a man may mend himself with little. As soon as my brother had gotten money and his care was past, I can by no means rid myself of these turmoils. If the matter be kept close, I shall live in fear if it be known. I shall be disgraced. Surely I would not go home if I had not some hope to have her. But where in God's name shall I meet with Geta, that I may ask him what time he will appoint me to talk with her father?
Act 5, Scene 5, enter Phormio to Antipho.
I have received the money. I have delivered it to the board. I have brought away the woman, and I have taken order that Phedria shall enjoy her full and whole, but she is set free. Now here is but one thing behind, which I must dispatch, for I must needs borrow 3 or 4 days of the old men to make merry.
But here is Phormio, methinks. How now? What sayest thou?
What?
What doth Phedria mean to do? How doth he say that he will have his fill of love?
He, Faith. He must play your part once again.
What part?
That he may escape his father, he entreats you that you would plead his cause and speak for him once more, for he and I must make merry. I'll tell the old man that I am going to Sunium, to the mart, to buy the maid which Geta spake of a while ago. At least when they see I am not here, they think I am gone to spend their money. But the door creaks behind thee.
See who comes forth.
It's Geta.
Act 5, Scene 6, it is indeed.
Oh, fortune, good fortune, what a treasure hast thou done, my master Antipho, today unlooked for,
What does this fellow mean?
and put us all that be his friends out of fear. But I'll stay no longer, but cast my cloak on my shoulder and go seek him in all haste to tell him of these good news.
Dost thou understand what this fellow saith?
Do you?
Not a jot.
No more do I.
I go presently to the bawd's house, for there they are.
Oh, Geta!
How now, sir? It's no new or strange thing for a man to be called back and troubled when he's going on his way.
Geta!
He hath not done yet. Go to, sir. I'll say never the more for your bawling.
Will you not stay?
I'll knock thee if thou wilt not hold thy peace.
Nay, thou it may be chanced. Thou it may chance shall be knocked if thou dost not stay the sooner.
Methinks he should have more to do with me then than he hath, that threatens me thus. But if not he trow who I seek, it's even he.
Go talk with him presently.
What's the matter with you?
Thou art the happiest man alive this day. Out of doubt God loves thee, Antipho.
So I would have him, but I would fain know why I should think so.
Will you not be glad if I make your worship merry?
Thou kill'st me.
Away with these promises, and tell us what news.
Oh, were you here too, Phormio?
I was here, but why dost thou not tell him?
Hearken, as soon as I had given you the money in the market, I went straightway home. Anon my master sent me to your wife.
Why so?
Nay, there I leave you, for it's nothing to this thing I'm about to tell you. As I was about to go into the nursery, Mida, the lad, came running to me and pulled me by the cloak as hung about me, whereupon I looked back and asked him why he pulled me. Then he got up and told me that they would not let him go into his mistress, because Chremes, the old man's brother, as Sophrona said, and they were within close together. As soon as I heard that, I went softly to the door. I stood still, I made no noise, I laid mine ear to the door, and I listened to hear what they would say.
Go to, Geta.
Here I heard that goodly matter, which made me almost cry out for joy.
What, I pray thee?
What think you?
I know not.
Surely it's a strange thing. Your uncle is found to be father to Fanny, your wife.
Oh, what sayest thou?
He had to do with her mother at Lemnum privily.
Thou dreamest. What, did not she know her father?
Thou mayest believe that some of this is true which I say, though all is not, because I could hardly hear without the doors all that which they did within.
Oh, it may be so, for I have heard such a tale.
Yes, I'll tell thee somewhat why thou mayest believe it rather. Thy uncle came forth of the house as I stood there, and anon, after he and thy father went in again, and both of them agreed that thou shouldst have her, at last they sent me to seek thee and to bring thee to them.
Oh, why then carry me thither in all haste. Why dost thou stay?
I'll dispatch presently.
Farewell, good friend Phormio.
Antipho, farewell. I am glad, so God help me, that all is so well.
Act 5, Scene 7, Phormio left solus.
And had they so good success indeed, when they were out of all hope? I am very glad of it. I have now a very good occasion to cozen the old lads. Phedria shall not need to take care to get the money, nor be beholding to any of his friends, for I will have the money out of their purses, which the unthankful bawds must have. I know how and all. Marry, I must get me another gate and put on a new face. and so I will go to yonder narrow street hard by. There I'll stand, that the old doshers may see me when they come forth. I will make them believe I went to the market, but I never meant it.
Act 5, Scene 8. Enter Demipho and Chremes to Phormio.
Brother, I give God heartily thanks, because those things have fallen out so well for us. Now I think it's best for us to talk with Phormio out of hand before he spend the £30 which he had of us, that we may never get it again.
I'll go visit Demipho, if he be at home.
And we're coming to you, Phormio.
I think so, and it may be about the same matter too.
Aye, truly.
I thought so. Wherefore were ye coming to me? That's a jest. Are you afraid I would not perform that which I promised? Surely, as poor as I am, I had always a care to keep my credit.
But say, is it not as I said? Is she not a very kind maid?
Very kind.
Therefore, I came to tell you, Demipho, that I am ready. Let me marry her when you will, for I set all other things aside, as reason was, after I knew it was your mind, that I should have her.
But Chremes have counselled me not to give her unto thee, for what will the people say, saith he, if thou shouldst? Heretofore, when you might have done it with honesty, then you would not. Now that she's a widow, it's no reason that she should be thrust upon him, and many a thing more which you reckoned me up of late.
You mock me very saucily, do you not think ye?
Why?
Ask, because I cannot now marry the other. For with what face can I go to her again, which I have cast off?
Then I see Antipho is not willing to part with her. Say so.
Then I see also that my son is unwilling to part with the woman. But go to the market, I pray thee, Phormio, and get me that same money again.
What money? Of my word, I have paid it to them to whom I was appointed.
What shall I do then?
If you will have me marry this woman, which you have betrothed unto me, I am content. But if your will have her stay at your house still, the dowry shall stay where it is. For it is no reason that I should be deceived for you, since I was content to be divorced from another to save your credit, who would have given as good a dowry as that comes to.
Get thee hence, and be hanged with thy liberality about thy neck, thou rogue. Dost thou not think I know thee, and thy good deeds too well?
I am catched.
Wouldst thou marry this woman, if thou mightst have her?
Try me.
What should my son dwell within thee? This was your drift?
What do you say, I pray you?
Marry, give me my money, I say.
Nay, give you me my wife.
Come on and walk with me to the consistory.
To the consistory? Do, and ye will, if ye mean to be famous for wranglers.
Well, what will you do, Trow?
What I? You think I am a fit proctor for none but for them that have nothing? Yes, I warrant you, I meet with some clients that have somewhat now and then.
What's that to us?
Nothing. I know a gentlewoman hereabouts whose husband hath another.
How now?
What's that he saith?
Wife at Lemnon,
I die.
by which woman he hath a daughter, and he brings her up unawares to his wife.
I am buried.
I'll even go tell her of this gear presently.
I pray thee do not.
Oh, are you the man?
What sport he makes.
We are content to let you go.
It's but a tale.
What wilt thou have? Thou shalt keep the money still which thou hast.
I hear you. Why then, with a mischief, do you mock me, ye dotrels, saying like children, will not, I will not, give me it, take it. Ye say and unsay, ye do and undo.
How and where, Trow, you heard of these things?
I know not that. This I'm sure I told it to nobody.
This is strange as God help me.
I've given them a bone to pick.
Oh, shall we suffer him to get away so much money from us, to fleer and jeer at us in every corner. Die first. Therefore be of good courage and pluck up a good heart. You see your fault is known abroad, and that you cannot keep it from your wife. I think it therefore best for some of us to tell her of it for quietness' sake, and then we may be revenged of this varlet as we list.
Alas, alas, unless I look to myself, I am in for a bird. Yonder fellows come towards me, swearing and staring like cavaliers.
I'm afraid she will not be pacified.
Be of good cheer, man. I warrant you I'll make you friends, since she is dead by whom you had this maiden.
Do you deal so with me? You set upon me very craftily. I tell you, Demipho, it shall be scarce good for him that you have set up me on. Do you, when you have done what you list abroad, nothing regard this good gentlewoman, but seeking to disgrace her afresh? Do you think, I say, to carry this fault cleanly away with a little entreaty? I'll tell her such a tale for this gear that she shall not be well pleased with some of you.
What a mischief hath God sent us here? Was there ever the like bold impudent fellow? Would not this vile varlet be banished all good company?
I am brought to such a state that I know not what to do with him.
I know. Let's put him in the court.
In the court? Aye, even there, an you please.
Stay and hold him while I call my servants.
I cannot alone. Come hither quickly.
I have an action against you.
Then take the law of him.
I have an other against you, Chremes.
Carry him away!
Is this your dealing? You will make me cry out of you. Nasistrata, come forth the doors.
Stop his mouth.
See how strong the varlet is.
Nasistrata, I say.
Will not hold thy peace.
Should I hold my peace?
Pinch him in the guts unless he will follow.
Oh, pull mine eyes out and you will. I'll find a place to be revenged of you.
And Act 5, Scene 9, enter Nasistrata.
Who calls me?
Out, alas.
Husband, what a coil is there?
Ha! Why would you nor speak a while?
What is he for a man? Why dost thou not answer me?
Would you have him answer, you that knows not where he is?
Take heed. Do not believe this fellow, whatsoever he be saying.
Go thy way, lay thy hands upon him. If he be not as cold as stone, let me be dead.
Here is nothing to do.
No, what's that then thou prattlest about?
You shall know by and by. Hearken thine ear.
Wilt thou believe him?
What should I believe him? He hath told me nothing yet.
Poor soul toots for fear.
It's not for naught that you are so afraid.
Am I afraid?
Aye, truly are you, sir. If you're not afraid, if it be nothing that I say, do you tell it, I pray you.
Thou filth, should he tell it thee?
Oh, you, sir, you have taken great pains for your brother.
Husband, will you not tell me?
But
What but?
it's not worth the telling.
Not for you, perhaps, but it's worth the knowing for him. In Lemnon,
Out, alas, what sayest thou?
Wilt thou not hold thy peace?
unawares to you,
Alas, what shall I do?
he married a wife.
May God swear about.
'Tis as I tell you.
Out upon it, I am undone.
And by her he hath one daughter, when you thought of nothing less.
What shall we do?
Oh, good God, what a wicked prank is this?
This is done and past.
Was any this day alive served as I am? Why, forsooth, when they come home to their wives, they complain they are old. Demipho, I appeal to thee, for I am ashamed to talk with him. Was this you are often going and long staying at Lemnum? Was this the cheapness of corn that marred our market at Lemnum?
Nasistrata, I do not deny but that he is worthy to be blamed for that he hath done. But yet the matter is not so great, but you may pardon him if you please.
You are as good speak to one that is dead.
For he did it not either for that he did not care for you, or for that he did mislike you, but being drunk upon a time about 15 years ago, he lay with that woman and got this made by her. Afterwards, he never touched her. She now is dead. She's not to be seen. What great matter is there to stand upon? Wherefore I entreat thee, take it patiently, as thou hast done heretofore.
What should I take patiently? Poor soul, I could be content to endure anything in this case, but what hope have I? Shall I think he will do so no more because he is old? He was old then, if that would have mended the matter. As for my beauty and age, is that any better now than it was then? What canst thou say, Demipho? What reason have I to think that he will do no more so?
It's time now that Chremes were fair buried. So I'll serve them all. Go to, go to. Now let who will provoke Phormio, he shall fare even as well, I trow, as he has done. We will be friends now, if the plague have even punished him enough. She has somewhat, I think, to lay in his dish as long as he lives.
Have I deserved, think you, that he should serve me thus? What need I, Demipho, call to mind how I have behaved myself towards him in every point?
I know it as well as yourself.
You think indeed that I have any way deserved this at his hands?
No, truly, but because that which is done cannot be undone. Forget and forgive him. He doth entreat you. He confesseth his fault. He clears himself as well as he can. What would you have more?
But before she forgives him, I'll provide for myself and Phedria. Ho, Nasistrata, hearken your ear before you make him any answer.
What's the matter?
I have cozened him, I may tell you, of £30 and given it to your son, Phedria. He gave it to the board for his true love.
Oh, what sayest thou?
Is it so heinous a matter that thy son, a young man, should have one sweetheart when thou hast 2 wives? Are you not ashamed? And what faith canst thou chide him? Tell me.
He shall do as you would have him.
To tell you my mind plainly, I neither forgive him, nor promise him anything, nor make him an answer before I see my son. Let him do as he thinks good. I'll do that he bids me do.
Commend thee. Thou art a good wife, woman Nasistrata.
Are you content it should be so?
Aye, truly, I like it well. It's better than I thought it would be.
But say, tell me, what's your name?
What, my name? Phormio, one that wisheth your whole family very well, but especially your son, Phedria.
Phormio, assure thyself I'll do anything for thee hereafter that I can.
It's more of your goodwill than of my deserving.
Yes, truly, you have deserved well of me.
Why then, Nasistrata, wilt thou begin today and do one thing for me that may please me and displease thy husband?
Aye, with all my heart.
Then bid me to supper.
Come and welcome.
Let's go in.
Content. But where is Phedria, our umpire?
I hope to God he will be here. Fare you well, and clap your hand.
And thus goes 2 hours of our life we will never get back. So, I mean, there are various issues here to discuss. I mean, first off, going back to Terence's original, I don't think it's the best play structurally. I find with Terence always, you have Act 1, you have all the exposition, you have to take it all in, and if you don't take it in, you're a bit screwed. And then there's an awful lot of referring to people who aren't on stage and things, which is always just a little unsatisfying. Then we get to this actual translation, which is, I think, a reasonable text to be working with the Latin original as a reading text to study with, but I do not believe for a second that this was a performance text. I do not believe for a second that whereas because we've looked at 2 other translation, well, 1 other Terence play in 2 different translations, and of which one which was just gibberish, and one of which was very, very good. And the very, very good one was by it was Andrea by translated by Maurice Kiffin. And all I can say is, "Come back, Maurice Kiffin, all is forgiven." I mean, because that was a genuinely enjoyable reading, as I recall. That it bounced along. It was really fun. You can see what they're striving for here, but this is not performable as it stands. It's the basis, it's the starting point, but yeah, this is disappointing. But I think we just have to put this in. It's not really a play. It's not a performance text as it stands. But anyway, that's my penny's worth. Thoughts from the room. Did anything come through? Because I struggled enormously. Who wants to leap in? Lynn, you?
Yeah, it's just really weirdly structured. That this wife that Antipho has married against his father. You never see her.
No.
She's sort of the focal point of the plot, and we don't know what she looks like. We don't know anything about her. So that's really weird. And then we have like the opening exposition, which is very clunky. And Davus, who is like a huge character in a different play, that same name, and he's just there for Geta to have someone to talk to. Yeah. And then this last scene, which I actually feel like there's a lot of fun to be had, Nasistrata, and her and she's very funny. She's very indignant. Like, am I any prettier than I was when he was cheating on me? No. Just because he's old, does that mean he's not going to cheat? No. I think she's really funny, but it's like late onset great character. We're not introduced to her till like 2/3 of the way through the play, and then she doesn't have very much to do in that scene. So that's really weird.
Yes, it's like suddenly that Act 5 suddenly sort of did spring to life through the translation. It's like in the original play, that seems to be where the meat is, whereas before, I mean, it's all partly down to what Geta is getting up to in terms of, and this text really doesn't manage to deliver a performable text. I mean, Briony, you just didn't have a hope in hell there, because so much of that is, I'm performing this thing that is happening, and then there's an aside, and then there's and it just doesn't make it clear what the hell you're actually saying. And of course, part of the text is based on sort of legal arguments that someone is making to somebody else at times, and so you just have these 3-point turns that you're doing in the middle of a sentence that Briony.
Yeah, and that was definitely worse. I think I felt at the beginning. I think there were places where it was just, the text was so much harder to deal with. But yeah, that was just like the weirdest, longest shaggy dog story ever. And I suggest the alternative title: How Phormio Got a Free Dinner.
Yeah, it's Elizabeth.
There was a line in it which was like, it's better than I thought it was. And I thought that applied to this. I feel like the readers kind of tackled it really well. And I was like enjoying the performances, and it was like giving it life that maybe wasn't so much there. Kind of giving sort of character that wasn't so much on the page. I know that some of these characters felt like parodies, and there was some moments where I felt like they were being parodied in the text, that I was not like getting it, and that I should know maybe more about the Latin translation than I do.
Yeah, I mean, they're all stock characters in that sense. I mean, the thing is that you're talking about Davus being a character we'd encountered, or a name of a character we'd encountered elsewhere. There's an awful lot of overlap of character names and character types in all of these plays. I mean, in a sense, I think we've said this before on camera, but basically, Terence wrote the same play 6 times. And, there are slight variations between them, but they are very, very similar texts. I mean, one of the reasons why we were doing these readings of these Terence plays is because they're very influential. I mean, they're translated a lot, and people use it as a model a lot from medieval times. I mean, there's a nun doing adaptations of Terence.
Yeah.
Hundreds of years prior to this translation. So he's about as an exemplar, which is odd because as far as I can tell, his entire career was total failure. Every play opens, as this one did, with the prologue basically going, well, nobody understood my last play. And they said horrible things about me, but I think I'm better. And that's basically his entire career. And yet somehow he has this sort of standing in a way that I don't quite understand. I understand what people got out of Seneca, even if you do or don't enjoy Seneca. I do understand what the early modern period really liked about it. I'm not quite sure I understand the obsession with Terence. I am very confused. Lynn.
Yeah, I mean, you were saying that these plots had traction way before this and way after. I mean, what is this but a Gilbert and Sullivan plot that the marriage is that the young people want is going to work out because one of them has a secret birthright that nobody knew about. I mean, that plot device gets used like into the modern era.
Yeah, but they could do Plautus. We've only got one Plautus in translation, as far as I know, I'm aware of. And as far as I'm concerned, he's just the infinitely superior writer, even though he's using the same stock characters and the same stock situations. And I find it weird, and I don't know why it is. Right, anyone got anything different to say? Because I think I feel I might have been speaking for the room, but anyone feels that they have something different, feel free to wave before I close the session. Alan.
I'm just wondering whether we've got an issue here with something getting corrupted in the press. In other words, whether the original manuscript might have possibly made more sense and it's got garbled, because I think we've proved before that proofreading was not a high priority in the printing industry at this sort of time.
Well, there wasn't. It wasn't. It depends on the press and the thing. With something like this, I'm fairly certain the text is pretty accurate actually, because it went through a lot of editions. This turned up a lot, and proofreading was sort of an ongoing process. You would print a page and then you'd check it because you and then you might change bits here and there, and so. Any individual edition might be different from each copy might be different as you went along.
That's very typical in the early modern period. Is like corrections were made mid press run, but the old sheets weren't thrown out because the uncorrected sheets weren't thrown out because it was so expensive. So basically every edition of a printed text might be slightly different than any other. There might not be two identical books.
So I'm not saying there aren't errors, and there weren't errors in the version we were reading. Certainly, there wasn't much punctuation that didn't help. It's just I think what that Richard Bernard is doing. It's the kind of text he wants to create. It seems intentional, which is a shame because it's not as theatrical as Maurice Kiffin's translation of Andrea, which is in the same edition. This is the thing. There's 5 which are translated by Richard Bernard and 1 by Maurice Kiffin, which was published earlier. It is a shame because I would much rather Maurice was doing these. We may or may not return to the other 4 that we have not done from this collection. We are sort of honor bound to do them, but that is for another day and possibly other people, because these may not come back if I schedule it. All that remains is to thank all the wonderful readers for all their wonderful reading. Thank you very much, everyone, and goodbye. I die.